Hey y'all, good to see you again here on Grassroots Gardening. I'm Ryan, and today I've got a video that I've been wanting to put out for a long time. This has been a long time coming. I finally got our jungle waterfall going out here in this greenhouse. Now, it is the jungle greenhouse. The birds are out here, so I'm sure they're going to squawk some while I'm filming, but I just cannot wait to show you this, this amazing little feature that we built. So I've got the ladder, as you can see right behind me. That's because I'm stupidly going to carry the camera up with me to show you guys from the top to the bottom. So let's see if we can do this without getting killed. And there's nothing like just adding, a complete another level of danger. So we've got one of the pipes for the handrail here in between the ladder because, well, that's the only place I could find to put the ladder to get to where I need it to be. I just finished doing some planting up here. Oh, this is great too. My ladder's all wet. I'm going to use one hand. I've got a pipe that will skewer me if I fall. So I hope you guys appreciate this because this might be my last video or day of living. Anyhow, here we are up at the very top of the greenhouse. I threw this bromeliad in up here at the very top because we're about 12 feet up and it gets really warm. Another little bromeliad there. Stuck this little string of hearts in. But this is where the water comes out. The pipe is under those rocks. I kind of had to put those rocks on there because when you fire this baby up, it shoots water all the way up to the ceiling, so the rocks just prevent that from happening. And planted this fern. This is a peacock fern. I just threw some dirt in between the greenhouse panel and the actual waterfall structure. And then coming down carefully, we go into the first pool. So the water just trickles down here. Now you see how that's white? That is Flex Seal. I had teeny tiny leaks somehow, so I just came in and I poured the Flex Seal in there and just rubbed it around, and it stopped the leaks. And you can't see that white from the greenhouse floor, so I'm not super worried about it. And then coming down again very carefully. Okay, going to the second pool where we have put one of our LED lights that we got off Amazon. I also ordered this screen here. I did that because it splatters kind of bad as it trickles down off of the tier there. So that screen kind of helps with the splashing. And then we carefully go down a little bit more. I had originally intended for water to go into that little bitty pool where there's a light, but it's not really flowing around there like I'd wanted, but it's no big deal. The light under the water still adds really cool effect at nighttime. Then it goes down into the largest and lowest pool where we've got a light as well. And you can change the color of those lights. It looks really neat at nighttime. And then let me step down off of here. Then it goes down the rock face to our little pool down here. I originally intended to put fish in here, but this water's pretty cold, and with the splashing and the evaporation effect, I just don't think we can really, I don't think it'd be a great idea to add a heater. So you can see on different shelves, I just stuck different plants in those little recesses. Got a couple coming down that side too, just to kind of, to make a transition into the old metal and plastic. Got us a huge monstera up on a little pedestal right there, and he's sent down his aerial roots. Look at this thing. It'll go all the way to the water. Matter of fact, over here, let me see if I can zoom in. He has sent one of his aerial roots already into that fern. And so hopefully the fern will live. But those aerial roots really can find their way and anchor themselves down. Put a tree branch in right there. Got this cool cissus vine growing up it. It's also sent down its aerial roots. And look here, this thing goes all the way right there, and it has rooted itself in. Kind of neat. So we've just got a little pool down at that end.
Cool. There's
Let me turn my radio down. it just kind of goes into a little makeshift creek that flows back that way and then to our pump, which I think I showed in the, or maybe I'll show a little clip right now of the autofill valve that I put in there, and that's where our pump sits. And then the PEX pipe is underneath the liner, ran right up the side here, so the water just continuously recirculates all the way around like a closed loop. Got a real pretty Monstera elbow, one there, and I planted another one right there in the center. So to kind of give the effect of that one growing into that one and making it look just like a huge Monstera. Put up a shelf right here. I don't really love how that looks, but hopefully as the plants grow, they'll kind of cover up that lumber. Got a good many orchids up there, my personal stock. That way I can kind of grow them. We can enjoy them flowering, and then I can break pieces off, for sale. Another cool orchid hanging right there. Put some ferns up in the ceiling, and I am tickled pink with how this thing has turned out. I mean, just to be from everyday building materials that you can order off Amazon, we've created this really neat feature. Adds a lot to the jungle greenhouse, which I'm going to walk around now and show you guys. Here's where we've done some plantings. I've got a pink princess, philodendron right there, Monstera dubia, which has actually gone up this tree and somehow found its way right back to the stump and pasted itself to the stump. Put some impatiens in a long time ago, and they've actually done really well. They can actually grow aquatically. And we'll do some more plantings of aquatic stuff down here in the stream bed, but I think it just turned out really, really cool. Add a neat ambiance to the whole place and really give it that jungle feel. Let's say hey to the birds real quick. A couple of you are asking to see the birds. This is Miss Scarlet. Hey Scarlet, you gonna talk? Not today? Okay, I don't blame you. And then we've got, I hung this little sign up we got in. And then we've got our buddy Larry, bad boy Larry. How you doing today, Larry? You being bad again? Have you torn up anything? Not yet? My buddy Luis built these cages for us here, and they turned out really fantastic. Before, I don't know if you remember from older videos, I had built them some bamboo type structures, but Larry tore his to smithereens, so we had to go with metal cages, but they're huge. They've got plenty of room to fly around and move around in. And then he also built us this one out of wood right here for all of the little birds. This just got done like 2 days ago, and I love how it turned out. I love for the birds to have plenty of room. So we've got just some parakeets, cockatiels, little canary, and some finches in there somewhere. They've got a nice big house that they can now fly around in as well. And this place is going to be open in just a few days. So the girls have been out here shining leaves. But we've got philodendrons that some, rare common, and then some super rare philodendrons as well. But everything is looking just so fantastic, and it loves the humidity out here in this greenhouse. And the temperature is regulated. Everything's computer automated, and they're just loving it. We've got our big corpse lily, Amorphophallus right there. A bunch of calatheas over here that actually look fantastic. Check that out. They have really cool leaves. We've got bromeliads everywhere. I mean, hell, even cactus. Your mother-in-law's tongue. Lots of different varieties of alocasia. More philodendrons. Got a lot of syngoniums. And tried to take advantage of the wall space there by putting some 2x4s, and then we just screwed a pot into the 2x4, and we just stick the other plant right inside that pot. But look at the leaves on these things, man. Tell you what, the girls got them looking fantastic. They're almost like show ready. But lots of rare philodendrons, as well as rare monsteras. Some more albos for sale over here. Another huge Thai constellation. Just way too many plants for me to go around here and you know, name every single one of them. Big pink princess right here. This is a giant goldie eye right here. Bunch more syngoniums and more philodendrons, Hoyas. I mean, you name it, we've got it in this greenhouse. Again, it would take just way too long for me to go around and show you every single plant. So just kind of giving you the dime tour here. A lot of other birds out here. Holly the cockatoo, she's our dancing queen. Holly, you gonna dance for us? There she goes. She's an entertainer. I also put these gutters up to house 4-inch containers of plants that are getting ready for sale. That way we can kind of water them from the bottom. And this is going to be just our work area back here where we're propagating a lot of plants. And then of course we pot them up and get them ready for sale. So tons of videos to come because I've got propagation or plants that need propagating out the yin yang back here. So stay tuned for a bunch of propagation videos because a lot of these really need to be cut up and we can make some babies for sale. So I know it doesn't look like a whole lot now other than a buttered popcorn sculpture in the corner of this greenhouse right next to this cooling pad, but hopefully this is going to turn out to be a multi-tier waterfall. So water will come out up there, the very top, trickle down into the first pool, second pool, maybe a third little shelf right there, and maybe, well, see, 1, 2, yeah, 3, and then the pool. And then that will spill out into a little pond that'll be just a small little creek going through here towards the birds' cages, and then it'll get pumped back. I'm building some little areas right here, just piling up a ton of foam. I'm going to cut out, you know, recess it so I can stick pots down in there, you know, orchids that are blooming or whatever's got some color to it, just to kind of give a little visual pop right there that I can change out too. But it's been a super fun project. I ordered some foam. Let's see here. This is what I'm using, and I got this off Amazon, as well as I bought that fiberglass that I was going to use off Amazon too, but I decided against it. I think it's just been too tedious. It definitely would add a lot of strength to it. Hopefully I won't regret that decision, but you guys know me, love my Amazon. They bring everything right to me, so I just order everything and don't have to go to the store. So what I've done, built the skeleton with PVC pipe, got probably 100 feet of 3/4 inch PVC pipe all glued together, as well as connected to the metal structure of the greenhouse for added strength. Larry, I don't know why in the world, every time I try to do a video, the birds have got to do something. Anyway, PVC pipe, and then I just took foam and I started going over the PVC pipe, you know, in selected areas, and then letting it dry for in some cases only, you know, a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so, letting it hard enough to then come back and add the second layer. A lot of fun. However, I will tell you that my fingers were like this when I got done, because that is a ton of foam. That's probably about 30 cans, maybe 20, 26, somewhere in there. And so squeezing that little plastic trigger with your finger, it sure can get to hurting after a while. This is a couple days worth. I work on it a little bit each evening when I have time. And so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to, I did cut off a few of, like, this was sticking way too far out. It didn't look natural. It was like a big old bulb. So I trimmed off a few spots I didn't like. But then I think with multiple coats of my mortar, it's going to really fill in any deep pockets and recesses and hopefully resemble rock a little bit more. Got a little bit of cracking right there. So this is going to take a couple of coats. And what I've done there, I got this stuff, of course, off Amazon too. And also I'll put in the description below. If you go down and click that, it'll show you all the products that I've used. And I'm trying a little bit of the window and door foam back there too, just because it said it's more UV resistant than putting that on the outside. But anyway, this concrete cure and seal, using it to mix in with the concrete. You can really supposed to do it after the concrete's hardened, after the mortar's hardened. You come back and put that on, but I'm mixing it in with the mortar too, just because I don't want any leaks on this thing. So mix that in, and then I've got some different pigments that I'm trying. I've got, let's see here, which color is this? Okay, this is charcoal. That one's charcoal as well. Then I've got some tan right there. I'm just going to experiment and see what looks the most natural to me. And then also got the bonding adhesive, and that's the water replacement. It just helps the concrete to really, really stick together. I only want to do this once, so I'm just trying to do the best job I can to get the mortar, to be as rigid and waterproof as possible. So I just mix up small batches, and I just take my gloves, put some latex gloves on, and I'm just smearing it. I tried a paintbrush, but it didn't work all that well. So I'm just going to do the whole entire thing with the mortar, and then add, little different colors. Like up top, let's see if I can zoom in and show you guys. I tried a little bit of the brown, kind of looks like dookie. So I don't know, I may need to use the less brown, or just kind of maybe streak it in too. I'm going to experiment with it, just see what looks best. It looks more natural. So I did put a little bit of brown right here, and not really like the way that looks. So I'm gonna have to experiment with that, but never done this before. And oh, one important thing that I just realized, I also use hardware cloth. So PVC pipe first, then hardware cloth attached and just covered the PVC to give me something to attach the foam to even better, and hopefully provide a little bit more strength. It shouldn't be too heavy. The foam, I mean, literally weighs hardly nothing, but it'll be the mortar, of course, that's going to give it a little bit of weight. And I've got my rubber liner tucked up under here, and now I'm going to tuck it up under there, and then continue my mortar on down. Not exactly sure if I'm going to do the entire creek in mortar, or if I'll just rock it and leave the liner as the the liner that holds that doesn't allow the water to escape. So pretty cool project. Hopefully it's going to turn out good, but I will definitely keep you guys posted. Oh, one other thing, I'm going to drill a hole down in the bottom of this pool, put an LED light in so that at nighttime when the water is cascading from pool to pool, hopefully that'll add a real cool effect. Then I'm going to build some areas out on each wall where I can put pots and plants, and I've got to find a way to soften the transition from the Waterfall to this poly. So that's what I'm going to do with plants and probably moss, stuff like that, just so it doesn't look so out of place. A hopefully naturally looking waterfall with the commercial plastic and metal. Try to soften that transition up a little bit. So I'm second guessing myself a little bit on the strength of just the foam shelf. I mean, it'll hold a good sized pot, but it's kind of pulling the whole wall. And so I don't want this thing to grow, or plant to grow and get huge and pull my wall down. So I'm gonna put some of this old scrap angle iron that I bought, as well as these little thin panel sheets. It'll add some rigidity and hopefully support the plant. I may go on up there and do some more too. Just getting kind of worried. This thing's getting pretty huge, and I hate for it to get to where we're putting the mortar on. It's too heavy and then stuff start peeling off. I don't think it's going to happen, but now's the time to go ahead and add some metal to it, just to give it that extra strength. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes since we sprayed this guy. And now I'm looking at this big old gap right here. So I'm just gonna come in with some bamboo. As you can see, kind of shove it in just to make a skeleton. And I can come foam over that and it should tie it all together and make it look like kind of one of those, just a rock shelf that hangs off of a waterfall in a greenhouse. I don't know how this thing's gonna turn out, but we shall see. I'm gonna try something a little different and add some natural pieces of granite to this rock wall, just to kind of add some authenticity to it. Not sure how it's gonna turn up, but that's the great thing about this foam, is you can come in and kind of rip away whatever you need to, you know, rip away, and then mold it however you need it. So we're gonna see how this turns out. I don't know, maybe cool, but it's gonna be kind of hard to blend the sparkles and the color. But I figured we'd give it a shot, because why not? Here's the metal I added yesterday. We just gotta kind of blend it in, you know, somewhat to make it look like a natural rock shelf. I stuck some actual rock in the foam yesterday just to see how I could tie into that, see if it might bring a little more reality into this piece. Another metal shelf right there, got it foamed over. Got the this is crepe myrtle wood, got it just kind of temporarily attached to the structure with some hose clamps. So we'll figure out what I'm going to put here. We got another area we can put a plant there. So my idea is to have, you know, probably the plant right there, a vine that goes up this tree, and then of course up on the upper shelves I want plants that are going to cascade down, and that hopefully will help break up kind of the monotony, and also help soften, you know, the transition going into the poly, double wall poly. So we'll see how it turns out. I just got a few minutes here, so I'm gonna take another can of foam and just add to some of my shelves and outcroppings while I got a minute. Let them harden, and hopefully this afternoon be able to hit it. Spend a little more time on it, get a little further down the road. So this is turning into quite the tedious process. What you got to do is come back and keep adding to areas like this one where I want it to kind of taper down versus just, you know, a hard angle, because it doesn't look natural. And you just have to keep coming back and building up areas and building up areas, letting it dry for a little while, coming back. So it's not the quickest process, but it is cheap and it is working. And I managed to get some to stick to the metal. It's hard because it only sprays with the can upside down. So putting the first coat on the upper layer, Jackson's just using his brush to kind of squish it in between the gaps and cracks. And I'm kind of working on putting the second layer down here on the bottom. But paintbrush seems to work the best that we found. We tried splattering it, tried using our hands, but the brush seems to work the best. Just a big, wide, stiff bristle. I wanted to show you guys real quick how I'm doing these bottom of the individual pools. So I mixed up some mortar real wet, and also wet my paintbrush. That gives me a smooth finish, and I may have to come back. Got some areas where it's a little thin. Might be able to rob some from here. Just want to make sure I've got a good seal and a good bottom to these pools. I don't think they'll leak just because they got a ton of foam, and this will be like the third coat of mortar. So it should be fine, but I don't want to have to come back and fix any leaks, that's for sure. And you also, any areas that you got up on the wall with this real wet mixture, this will be the third coat of mortar. Sorry, the camera was facing down. This will be the third coat, and it makes it real easy to come back and fill in any little voids
or areas that you just don't like that whole real rough, and we'll fill all that in too. See if we can't smoothen it out. So just a little trick there, real wet mortar, wet your brush, and get you a nice smooth finish.
So we're going to put this in areas where the water is not going to be. And it's going a lot faster. Oh yeah. Okay guys, wrapping up another day on this waterfall project that's taking way longer than expected. So obviously you saw me do the cheat earlier, and we spray painted like a lot of the thing just to kind of blend everything in. And then our project manager, my son Jackson, mixed up a little too much mud on the last run. So we just came back in and smoothed up some areas, especially where the water's gonna run, to kind of get it waterproofed in for sure. But it's looking really, really good. I'm super stoked about the outcome of this project. I think it's going to be amazing, and we're getting closer and closer. So tomorrow I think we'll mix up just a little bit more mortar, hit those areas where the water is going to run for sure, and then come back with our sealant, seal those areas really well, and then we're going to come down and dig out this and put a new piece of liner down. I don't know who drank those beers. New piece of liner, pump down there. Got to move a 3/4 inch water line, and then we're gonna be getting close to sending some water up the top of that bad boy. We are getting closer and closer, y'all. I think we're kind of pretty much done with the outer surface. A few areas we're gonna have to touch up, but I think we're pretty much where we need to be. Now I've got to still dig out. Had to reroute the pipe down there, started digging at that end. That's where the pump's going to go. Now we've got to go cut us a piece of liner to fit in this area, and obviously line the whole bottom of the creek and the little pool down there. So I'm going to go see if I can find the roll of rubber liner, cut that, and then we're going to be getting pretty dang close to turning this thing on. I'm excited. So Jackson and I just unrolled 20 feet off of our big roll of liner that is crazy heavy and we could barely move. This will be the most expensive part of the project. Now, I have this big roll because here's our creek that we're putting down in the nursery. We just haven't had time to get back on this project because, well, we had to quit it because we ran out up there of liner. So we're going to steal some off of this project for our waterfall. Now we got to get it up to the greenhouse and get it in the ground. What we're attempting to do now is create a shelf right here so that we can put aquatic plants for sale, but we're trying to figure out exactly where the water level is going to be, and it's really all up to us and whatever the lowest point of this reservoir is going to be. So we're going to carve that, kind of make the water look like it's coming off the falls and then snaking down through there. All right, we've got her carved out pretty much like I want it. Deep spot right there. The main channel, if you will, curves around this shelf. So you probably have to get down here to show you. But this is the shelf where we're going to have stuff for sale. Main little channel. And then right here where we're going to do some type of little, not a waterfall, but some little decorative drop. We're going to put an aqua block in the rectangular area down there, and we'll cut a hole in the top of it so we could drop our pump down into it. And the pump will also be in this mesh bag that I found on Amazon to keep all of the debris that does fall down, keep it out of our pump. I went a little more vertical with this wall over here. Our buddy Ethan, the pond dude, was here a while ago, and he suggested we do that so we have more room for fish out here in this area. So we chop that vertical, and then once we have our liner here, we'll just do some flat stonework up under it. That'll give us some more living area for aquatic animals and such. So I am ready to throw some liner in this thing, so that's what we're going to do right now. So this is definitely the hardest part of the project yet. The liner is freaking really heavy and super wide, so you got to get down in here with it, move it around. Now I'm trying to trim it, but about got it. Now I just got to figure out how I'm going to get the liner to stay up underneath this rock ledge. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm down in here with the liner, and I've got it cut, but I've got to figure out some kind of way to make it stay up in there. But then also I don't want water to run down here and go back up underway and find its way up underneath the liner. So that's what I'm going to try to figure out right now. I may have to come out and do a little foam right through here and then stick some natural rocks to it. Not really sure, but I got to seal it up some kind of way. Let me see what I can come up with. The only thing I can come up with is to take these rocks and stack them to hold that liner up underneath there, and then just foam the crap out of that crevice and attach the rock to the actual other foam structure there and just fill in that whole area. That's about all I can come up with, so that's what I'm going to try. And as long as I do a good job with the foam, we shouldn't have any leaks, hopefully. All right, guys, that is going to conclude your dime tour. Thank you so much for watching, and for those of you who made it this far, I think I'm going to stay just another hour, let the sun set, and put some video of the waterfall with the lights on at nighttime, because it just looks so pretty. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you so much. Hit that little notification bell down there, like and subscribe. We appreciate it greatly. And always remember, the more you know, the more you grow. See you on the next video, y'all. Bye.